Every year we make predictions based on filming news that come from reliable sources. But even though these reliable sources are pretty good at separating the fake information from the legitimate information, some of that fake or inaccurate information still gets through every now and then. A good example of this was the fake information that we got for Season 6, about a couple of major characters being tied, flayed, and burnt on the Bolton crosses right before the Battle of the Bastards began. We speculated on this so much, and the people on the crosses turned out to be nobodies in the end. Fake or inaccurate information isn't the only thing that messes up our predictions though. Sometimes we get pictures of actors on set filming scenes that seem legitimate in our eyes, but turn out to be fake. And then there are some scenes that are legitimate but get deleted after the post-production process is finished. Don't get me wrong though, this doesn't take away the fact that the speculation process is still a ton of fun. But maybe looking back on what didn't happen can help make us better in the future. So let's go now through 10 things that didn't happen in Season 7. Number 1. Tyrians Line.
Welcome home, my queen.
It has become clear that lines we hear in teaser trailers are not guaranteed to show up in any episode. One example is that Season 6 teaser where Bran said,
"They have no idea what's going to happen."
But the good thing is that we can still use these lines in our speculations, because they're still very relevant to the season. It just sucks when the line is really good and you're really looking forward to that scene, to then not have it happen at all. Number 2. After this season, Ramsay's gonna look like a little kid. This is something that Pillow Aspect said during an interview. And, well, they either deleted that scene, or Pillow didn't know what he was talking about. The worst we saw him do this season was kill the Sand Snakes. And although it was a bit gruesome, it did not reach any levels of Ramsay evilness. We already know not to fully trust what actors say because they will always hype up the season no matter what. But this was a very specific thing that we all wanted to see, especially for book readers, because we know for a fact that this could have been true, based on that Winds of Winter chapter called The Forsaken, where Euron does some really horrible things to people. It was pretty disappointing to not get any of that, but hey, we may still see it in Season 8. I don't know about you, but I keep expecting a Yara torture scene. Not that I want to see it, but I'm just expecting it. Number 3. Edmure Tully was supposed to make an appearance this season. We saw this picture of someone picking him up at the airport in London when he was on his way back from Belfast, and we all assumed he was filming scenes for Season 7, but who knows? Maybe he was doing something else over there. The only reason I don't think this was a deleted scene is because I recently checked out some of the Season 7 leaks, and they stated that the Riverlands would not be mentioned at all. So it seems like showing Edmure was just never part of the plan. Number 4. Brendan Morrissey was cast as the new Lord Frey. Okay, where the hell was this Brendan Morrissey guy? I relied on this casting news for my Frey's predictions and we didn't see him anywhere. He might have been one of these random dudes that Arya killed. But yeah, that threw off a lot of us, making us predict the wrong things. Casting news do often sound a lot more exciting than they end up being. We heard about Joseph Quinn, who ended up playing Connor, the Winterfell guard. Nothing too exciting there. Ben Fox played this random lord at the inn. Philip O'Sullivan was just this archmaester that said nothing at all. Similar to when we made a huge fuss about Megan Parkinson, whose character we did get right when we predicted that she would be playing Alice Karstark, as well as the little boy being an Umber, but they also barely had any lines. Don't despair though, casting news can still be quite exciting every now and then. Like when I decided that the young lord and the priest could be Rhaegar at his secret wedding. And that did end up happening. So I would say that speculating on casting news is still worth it, but we should take them with a grain of salt. Number 5. The Dragon Skulls leak. When we were getting closer to the Season 7 premiere, we got a few more spoilers revealed from a source that had visited the filming studios in Belfast. One of the spoilers is that they saw dragon skulls being physically sculpted instead of digitally, which meant that the actors would be walking around them. And this did actually happen, but the way it was communicated to the audience was a bit misleading. The specific words were, according to one of the workers, doing the skulls as CGI wasn't a practical option, as there will be action taking place around and possibly on the mammoth props. The word action makes us think that something exciting is going to happen, and that it will involve a lot of movement from the actors. then our brains make a natural connection between that and the other words, possibly on, in the report, making us assume that people will be getting on top of the skulls. So a lot of us thought that there would be an attack or something, where people would be running away and maybe climbing or hiding in the skulls, or even fighting around them. But in hindsight, we can now see that the report was accurate. The word action could have referred to the scorpion scene, or just any type of acting around the skulls, which we did see not only with Cersei and Qyburn, but also with Tyrion, Bronn and Jaime. Then the bolt from the scorpion piercing the skull was probably what that worker was referring to when he said that the action would be happening possibly on the skulls. Knowing this should help us in the future to pay closer attention to the wording in these reports, and not immediately assume that our first interpretation of the words is the correct one, because that's what a lot of us did in this case. Number 6. There were reports of Game of Thrones closing up the dark hedges to film something there, which made us believe that we would get to see the King's Road again this past season. I haven't been able to rewatch the whole season yet, so I'm not 100% sure, but I don't remember seeing it at all. Did I completely miss it? Or did the scene get deleted? The reports seemed to be very reliable, but I guess it could have still been inaccurate. Oh well, this one isn't too bad. Number 7. Dany was supposed to have a scene at the Dragon Pit where she would talk to Davos and Brienne. According to Watchers on the Wall, this report came from a reliable source, and I do trust them, so I'm leaning more towards the possibility of this being a deleted scene. But there was so much going on at the Dragon Pit and so many characters involved that it would be pretty easy to get information about the scenes mixed up, depending on how that information was obtained. At least now we know that even if the information comes from a reliable source, there's still the possibility of it not happening. It would have been cool to see Dany speaking to Davos and Brienne, two people who tend to give great advice, but at least our speculations didn't suffer too much from the absence of this scene. Number 8. Annette Hanna, the little bird who had a part in Maester Pycelle's death in Season 6, was supposed to be filming scenes for Season 7 as well. There were pictures of her with fans taken in Belfast and Seville, so those served as backup for that report and it all seemed to fit. Not only that, but the report also said that she was supposed to be in the finale. I was really excited to see her because, like a lot of us, I expected her to be involved in some sort of betrayal on Qyburn, because she was still loyal to Varys. It would have been a really interesting thing to add to Varys' and Qyburn's plotlines this past season, but it turned out to be nothing. It was either another inaccurate report or another deleted scene. But this is another thing that we might see in Season 8, so I'm still crossing my fingers for that. Number 9. When Kit Harington revealed that they had filmed fake scenes, people immediately remember the pictures of Kit and Emilia holding dragon heads on the beach. And sure, this definitely looks like it was one of those fake scenes that he was talking about, but what was the point? When this topic became popular, I kept telling people that even if that scene was fake, it was obvious that Jon was still going to meet the dragons anyway. So what was the point of this? Oh, you guys think that Jon is going to pet the dragons on the beach, when in fact, he's going to pet them right over here, just a bit further away from this spot. Ha! We gotcha. Yo, we totally tricked the paparazzi here. Number 10. The Hooded Man and the Explosion. Now this does seem like a more legitimate fake scene. Gotta love that oxymoron there. People were going nuts about this clip when it first got leaked, trying to figure out what it could be, who it could be, and also what the guy is saying. The only word that seemed clear enough was Khaleesi, so everyone thought it could only be Jorah. Of course, this could have been meant for an entirely different movie or show, and it looks a bit too expensive to be fake, but it really sounded like he said Khaleesi. So, we spent a lot of time speculating on this. Was it fire from a dragon? Was it just a normal explosion? Was it Jorah? But again, it never happened. Was there anything else that you expected to see and didn't? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, leave a like if you like this video, subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next one!